Coexistence means so many things to different people.
It gets co-opted.
I do like part of what they did in the large carnivore conservation strategy in Europe. I mean, that's what they were trying to address. And part of it in the translation was living together comfortably.
Then how do you define, comfort?
It means living together
Beneficial.
to mutual benefit.
Yeah.
Mutually beneficial living arrangement.
I like the idea of good neighbors.
Yeah. Not mutually supportive, because the animals don't support us except in terms of aesthetics and recreation.
Our souls.
Right.
Really.
Yeah, spiritually.
To ensure that other species can thrive and flourish?
Say flourish or thrive, either way.
Humans thriving as well and flourishing.
Yeah, well.
That would be the shared and neighborly thing to do. It does always need to apply to both sides.
Right,
That's the
so
thing.
I'm going to replace basic with vital.
Yeah, I like that.
But where I always get stuck and I'm uncomfortable with, it's always humans and then everything else.
We should explicitly point out that we are the dominant species. We are controlling most of the world's environments, and we're changing the global environment, including climate.
Yeah.
And that so it's our responsibility to minimize the harm that we're doing to the world. When you remove the top carnivores, the apex predators from ecosystems, those ecosystems collapse.
I like good neighbor,
Yeah,
it's like
good neighbor a lot.
neighbor conveys what we're trying to say, and neighbor is so neighborly and so positive and comfort, and means you're doing good for, it's not human-centric necessarily.
That's where this responsibility comes from, though, is to, in part as a response to that degradation that we're causing, and the influence that we have. It's not positive, right?
Yeah, we have to acknowledge that we are in control. Therefore, we need to constrain our activities so that other species can thrive and continue to exist. But if we just keep going along mindlessly the way we're going, there will be a huge loss.
And that's the sacrifice in many people's eyes, is that is giving up something, which is viewed as a right, by the way. They're giving up some rights.
Right.
But we all do that when we live in a neighborhood. It's a compromise. It's a contract. Yeah. I won't do these things if you won't do those things.
It's being a good neighbor.
Yeah.
People should understand that this is possible. I mean, and you can live, with others.
And there are models.
And there are models everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
In places where you wouldn't even expect there to be models, right?
Exactly.
The roles of some species are more easily substituted for than the roles of other species. Top predators are among those species whose positions in ecosystems are irreplaceable.
Yeah, there are no substitutes.
Mm-hmm.
The kinds of killing we do of prey species like elk or deer is qualitatively different than what a predator does. Predators pick out the weak, the sick, the wounded, but humans pick out the trophy animals as prey, which damages the gene pool instead of improving the gene pool.
How do we turn humans other than they're destructive? I mean, that's what you become, when originally you're part of that and your keystone because of your influence and your numbers, and then the numbers become so great and the influence is so pervasive.
The keystone species in nature enhances diversity.
Exactly.
We passed the top of the curve and going down the other side, so our increasing power in ecosystems is reducing diversity. We need to leave certain places relatively alone, and we call them national parks, for example, or other protected areas where the hand of man is restrained.
So here's what we have. A definition of coexistence with large carnivores. A mutually beneficial living arrangement that meets vital needs of both people and large carnivores. This arrangement embodies the ideas that humans have an ethical responsibility to ensure that other species thrive. It is self-evident that humans are expanding their control at a pace and scale that continues to degrade the environment of all species, including ours. To reverse this trend will require restraint, as is necessary in any community. Conflicts resulting from sharing nature with large carnivores need to be resolved equitably and without acrimony, while recognizing the important role that large carnivores play in enhancing biodiversity in nature. This arrangement includes the need to designate areas of appropriate scale where nature operates in a self-willed manner.
Good.
Where nature is self-willed.
I got it.